So someone's paying attention. That's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Most of these webinars are designed to help our clients do their phase ones. I've been doing phase ones since the mid-'80s. And I've reviewed, written, had a part in tens of thousands of phase ones. Our original company, Phase One Inc., which spawned off ERS because we couldn't get good data from anybody. Really, all those environmental professionals designed ERS, Environmental Record Search. So all our tools and everything are designed for environmentalists to make it easier, quicker, faster, more comprehensive, and make it so you don't miss anything, lowering your liability. And so all these webinars are designed to make your life easier. So if you ever give us any feedback on the webinar or anything that can help us improve it, please let us know. Also, just so you know, if you want, you've got 4 or 5 or 6 people who you want to train in certain things, and you can do it through a webinar, I'd be glad to give you a private webinar for your company and your people. It's not a problem. Anything from optimizing your phase one all the way through to writing a phase one report using our template or your template as far as that goes. And remembering that all these documents I'm going to be talking about, we have field checklists, we have questionnaires for site contacts, for owners, for buyers, for everything. All this stuff also directly fits into our template. Our template can be changed to fit your template. We do that for our clients, and we give our clients all these documents. If you're not a client, one of the ways we try to earn your business and keep your business is by supplying all these free things. Our report writing template costs you nothing. All our competitors who have report writing templates, it costs them money. And our report writing template is approved by every financial institution I know of. And if you ever come across one that it isn't, let me know and I'll make sure it gets approved. So Suzanne has sent you a little chat, basically giving her email. So along the way, if there's anything you want, just let her know. Keep in mind, you've got to be a client. So all I'm asking is you buy one of our RecCheck reports or some of our historical information. Remember, our RecCheck reports, our radius search report, is about 60% less expensive than EDR, the 900-pound gorilla. We have more data, more historical. It's more user-friendly. It's accepted by everybody. Everyone I know in this world, as far as that goes. And we work with you. And we give you great customer service. We do not have salespeople. We do not have foot soldiers. We're not going to come and wine and dine and kiss your rear end to try to get you to use our business. We're going to earn your business, and we're going to keep your business because we've earned your business. Not because we gave you a whole bunch of false hopes and stuff and talked you into paying more money for the same data. Kind of crazy, right? But that's what happens. Okay, so let's get started. Optimizing your phase one. Well, I'm going to ask a few questions as we go along. And you need to answer them for me so I know you're paying attention. And then also, you need to send me a question once in a while. That way, I can go ahead and slow down a little bit and get refocused. And if you don't ask me a question once in a while, sometimes I just zoom right through this stuff. So, job opening. You just want a job. The client signed your contract and you just want a job. You just came in the door. A lot of this stuff I'm going to talk about are things you already do. But hopefully you pick up something new or one thing that's going to save you time and money in on a free webinar. That's pretty good. Obviously, a lot of this you're going to already do or know, but you may not know everything because I don't know everything. I'm learning every day. So you want a job opening. Remember the setup of a job, that 15, 20 minutes that once a job walks in the door is so important. Before anyone goes out and do a site walk, before you schedule for the site walk, the setup of a job is so important because the more thorough you are and the more complete you are, the smoother the job's going to go from start to finish. So, assigning the job number. Of course, everyone assigns a job number to a new job in the door, but assign the job number. Send the questionnaires out. Day one, automatically. There should be somebody in your office who automatically sends out those questionnaires. Very important, and follows up on them to make sure they come back. Now, we have a zillion million questionnaires. So here's an example, tenant interview or tenant questionnaire. It asks all the key stuff that you need to know. Who's the owner? Who's the current site manager? What's their contact information? How many buildings are on site? Square footage? What are they doing on the site right now? All this you need to know so you can decide who's going to do the site inspection. I mean, if it's an innocuous site, vacant land, you can have one of your beginning people go out there and do it for you as long as they're following a checklist that cues them on everything. But these questionnaires are designed to pick up things. They also become a legal document because if somebody fills out one of these things erroneously and later on down the road you complete the phase one relying on some of this information, guess what? Your company and your client are protected. It's for everybody. These become legal documents. So make sure they're completed. Make sure you get them back. So we designed a questionnaire basically for every kind of situation. Here's an owner interview. Here's a user questionnaire. Now, that's the user of the phase one. Remember, whoever ordered the phase one and is going to use it's got to answer the question. Well, what do they know about the property? Not a whole heck of a lot, right? But they can confirm some things that are going to help you. And it'd be nice to have it back before you start the sidewalk. So, send the questionnaires. Very important. Arrange the sidewalk. Now we have a sidewalk confirmation form. Why do we have a site confirmation form? As all this stuff is coming back, the important stuff is all going in a separate file. Remember, we create a bunch of files. In addition, we create a field folder. So we put what should be in the field folder. So all this stuff is important stuff, information, but arranging the sidewalk, you need to have a form. You put the site contact's name, who you're going to meet on the site, the date and time you're going to meet them, and their cell phone number. How many times have you gotten to a site to do a site inspection and your contact isn't there? Call them. Brokers are notorious for being late. Absolutely notorious. So make sure you have that in the field folder. Creating that field folder, financial folder, and the report writing folder are crucial. You keep putting data in there. So when everybody grabs a folder to go use it, it has everything in it they need. Order the RecCheck Radius Search report and the regulatory historical research if you don't do it yourself. Now, if it's in your local city area, of course, it's easy for you to get aerials and fire insurance maps and city directories. But if it's outside your normal area, you don't know where those are. In most cases, it's less expensive to order them from us, from a labor standpoint. So remember, one of our packs with everything in it but lean research is $280. That's cheap. It comes with the RecCheck and everything. Now, the regulatory information you don't get for 24, 48 hours, sometimes 36 hours. Most of the time it comes in quicker. But you do get the RecCheck Radius Search report, the 1 mile radius database report, within a matter of minutes, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. If you're in downtown New York, LA, whatever, it's going to take longer. Why do you want that ahead of time? Well, it used to be really, really important for whoever was doing the site inspection to review. Now, if you have different site inspectors versus report writers, then the report writer needs to review the RecCheck before that site inspector goes out and give them some key information and a couple of the key pages, like the 16th of a mile map, which, by the way, we're the only company that has a 16th of a mile map. And you get in those really busy areas in downtown New York, Chicago, that kind of thing. It comes in handy because it's not so crowded. But the real key is the RecCheck report gives you a heads up on what you want to look on the site. Remember, you never want to have to go back to the site. You want to get as complete information, no matter who's doing the site inspection, whether it's the report writer or a site inspector you've got who's going to do it. Especially nowadays, a lot of companies use remote site inspectors. Okay, so order the RecCheck report and all your historical research so it's coming in timely, because a lot of these phase ones have to be done in a week or two, and you need to make sure you're getting all the information. Now remember, as we go along, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask. So all these forms that I'm showing you as we're going along, you can get a copy of these forms if you're our client. Become our client, and we're going to help you succeed in any way we possibly can. And any of these forms, I'm sure you've got most of these forms, but maybe you pick up a question or an idea or something off of one of our forms that's going to help you improve and set up for your job. So job preparation, very important. So we talked about the RecCheck report, ordering it a little bit. Well, it used to be super important. Now we have an app. And with an Android phone or iPhone, you can download our app as one of our clients and use it. You have to be registered in our company as being a client, and you can use this app. It's really easy. It's really fun. And basically, you stand in front of your building, your property, whatever, right on the sidewalk. Don't stand in the street, because I don't want you to get hit while you're looking at your phone. Anyway, you stand right in front of your building, your site. You click a few buttons. It takes your GPS location, sends it to us. We run a report. And in 3 to 5 minutes, you have a report, a couple-page report right back to your phone that tells you if there's anything on your site or any big things right adjacent to you. So you can peek over the fence, you can look, and all that kind of stuff. The app is super neat and saves you time reviewing the Radius report right away, although the Radius report is obviously far more comprehensive than the little app, but the app is free to use for our clients. Think about it. Free app to use for our clients, give you a heads up. Okay, anyway, if you're not going to use the apps, things you want to put in the field file are subject site and adjacent site information, the 16th of a mile map, the big site listings, there's tables, possible files to review, local files, local history, environmental questionnaire, and owner questionnaire into the field file, because that's going to help the site inspector do their job. Remember that. Okay? And the field inspector, whether it's the report writer, the same person, or a different person, needs to review that field folder, take 5 minutes before they go out to the field. So field folder also needs, and we already talked about this, a site contact, name, number, site location map, which you can get right out of the one of our RecCheck reports. So let's look at that really quick. Here's our standard RecCheck radius search report. It hasn't been expanded or anything. The first thing you want to do is you want to check and make sure it is your subject site's address. Very important. Check that out. The next thing is to get around a report, you use bookmarks. Click on the left-hand side, that little ribbon right there. Everybody see that little ribbon? So click on that little ribbon there. Now, we talked about the 16th of a mile radius map. Right there, it tells you right away. That's a great map to give your field assessor a copy of, because they can mark photos and all kinds of stuff on that, right? Photo direction arrows and all that other stuff right there. Also, there's a site location map, two different ones, a topo and a site location map. I want you to know something very interesting on that topo. Our set's right here. The slope of the land goes, that's cruddy. Let me do something better. The slope of the land goes that away. Okay, very important. Groundwater is going towards the bay. This is Boston. The slope of the land's going that way. This is Beacon Hill here. Pretty interesting, right? The star is our site. All this tells you really quickly what's on your site. Now, executive summary. Your site isn't listed for anything. It says right up front, easy, not important. So really what's important is that 16th of a mile map. And with all our reports, green is good. Yellow is the agency didn't provide enough information to say whether it's a concern or not, closed, open, anything. So you need to review it. Red is bad to the bone, really bad. Now, since you've got to address vapor intrusion or any kind of migration, whether it's water, subsurface, surface, vapor, you name it, any kind of migration, one of the things we do, and none of our competitors have, is we map every air permit. What is an air permit? It's a license to release hazardous materials in the air, volatile organic chemicals in the most place, sometimes a little semi-volatile organic chemicals. But from here you can see there's some close places to your site. So it's actually 39, which is, gosh, there's a lot of listings, huh? So 39 is kind of up up over here. And the real key with 39 is it's probably a dry cleaner if we go look it up. That means it's been leaking a little bit. And the 1/4 mile map you need. So this is an 1/8. This is a 1/4 mile. The inside one is really crowded, and that's why, exactly why we have a 1/16 of a mile map. Makes it a lot easier. Now, you can tell 39 is far enough away from you that you don't really have to worry about it. But let's go look at this number 1. So you want to find details on one of these locations. It's really easy. Number 1, right there. You also have the direct link you can cut and paste or click on, depending upon your browser and stuff, to see exactly what the listing is. So this is an FRS, Facilities Reporting System. That's all it is. CVS Pharmacy, training. So I'm guessing Photo Fixer Developer. Well, in the old days when they actually developed photos, they used it a lot of nasty volatile chemicals. Excuse me. And if those got in the ground, they could create vapor intrusion or contamination on your site. So let's go back to that 1/16 of a mile. We're looking at this site right here. We also know that groundwater goes that way, guys. So that site, you just want to make sure it's clear. You might want to have your field assessor do a file review while they're out and about. Because usually when they're out in that town, maybe you're not from Boston, it's easier to go to the agency while you're in the area and do the file review. So you would check all these things just like you would anything else really quick. Keeping in mind, the app would have picked up those immediately adjacent sites. Now 16 down here, just because it's red, although I know it's downhill, I'm going to look at it because I want to see what that sucker is. So it had to have some sort of abatement management done back in 2008. I don't really know what CSS M8 is. So if you wanted to know what a database was, you go to Record Sources Search, CS MA. It's sites listed in cleanup of sites and spills, temporary and open cases, aka contaminated site list, waste site cleanup negotiation. It's a CERCLA equivalent. That's bad. That's a bad site. But it is downstream. Again, you might want to pull the information on this site or go to the agency and review the file to see while you're out and about. So if there isn't any other questions on our RecCheck report, I'm going to move on. So we mark a map, make a map for marking on. I already showed you a map you could use in the RecCheck report. Remember, all of these maps in the RecCheck report are figure 1, site location, figure, that kind of thing. So you can use them directly in your phase 1, saving you time and money. It already has your company name in it. If you put your company name when you registered with us, all that stuff goes in there, makes it easier, saves you time. What do you need a map for marking on? Very important. When that assessor the site inspector is doing the site inspection, first of all, they should go the same direction every time if they can. Outside clockwise, inside clockwise. Always try to go the same direction. So, because they're your ears and eyes, if you're the report writer and you're not doing it. You need to know the direction they go. The second is every photo they take, they mark on this map. Maybe not as they're going around because they're juggling a lot of paperwork, but before they leave the site, they're going to mark an arrow from where they took it in the direction they took the picture and put the photo number. Very important for recreating this and not forgetting something. Also, all our assessors, when we used to do these things, were taught to take pictures of everything, especially things they don't know, unknown features and that kind of stuff. And having that arrow in the direction lets you know right where it is. And I used to have a sample where I could show you that exactly, but I don't see the sample anymore. It's not a big deal. So field checklist. What is a field checklist? Let me show you. A field checklist is used to help the assessor make sure they don't miss anything in the field. So they're checking this thing off as they're going along. It's really easy. When this field checklist comes back in from the field, you're going to see all these Q numbers. These Q numbers were designed so a word processor, which I hate to tell you, in most cases, a word processor is a better typist or word processor than 99.9% of the environmental professionals. Even though environmental professionals think they're great at everything, they're not necessarily great at everything. Hiring a word processor to type in from this, they don't have to know anything about environmental. They just type in exactly what's in this checklist. Makes it quick, fast, saves the report writer time, because remember, as things are coming in, interviews, all that's getting typed in to your report writing template, and next thing you know, you've got half or more of your report already written. All you got to do is draw conclusions. So this is a sweet thing. It reminds them to take 6 inside, 6 outside photos as a minimum, current use, all kinds of key questions as you go along. Are there waterways on the subject site, adjoining site? When we teach our class on how to write phase 1, and part 2 of this, we'll go over that a little bit, you'll see exactly where these get filled in and match our report writing template. Remember, everything we do works with our template. Our template can be adjusted to your template if you're one of our clients. But so it keys your site assessor on. Is there previously existing tanks where you can see where they were? Is there hazardous substance storage, PCB equipment, elevator, anything like that? Clarifiers, sumps, trenches, stress vegetation. You want your assessor to fill your checklist out before they leave the site. That way you know everything was thought of, looked at, checked. Even to how to take the photos and write the description to the adjoining sites. Because how many times have your assessors got back in the field, you didn't know the adjoining sites, and you had to go to Google and try to figure out the addresses and stuff. It's a bear in what somebody does. That takes you more time than doing it right the first time. And the idea is to get them to do it right the first time. Now you're going to see it says property checklist Q sheet, industrial. We have an industrial one, commercial one, residential, apartment complexes, that kind of thing. Why the different Q sheets? Because you have to do a whole lot more work and look at a whole lot more things when you're doing industrial versus just an apartment complex. So, or an office building that's always been an office building, and before that always vacant. So it's very, very important that you have a good Q sheet. Okay, so the field checklist, they're noting what to look, making notes of what to look for, and you provide an email. So now the field folder's ready. Preparation is very, very important. The next thing is the site walk. We've mentioned some of the things in the site walk, but one of the things we always did, and remember, we were doing 100 to 2, our parent company, before they stopped doing phase ones, was doing 100 to 200 phase ones a month. Now, to some of you, that's not a lot. To a lot of you, that is a lot. So we had to be really organized to make sure all our reports were written in-house. All our site walks were done by remote people. So get the business card of the site contact, on-site person, manager or owner, who's ever on site. Outside, take cover photo first. This is our most important photo because it's what goes on the cover of our report, and it needs to be resemble the site. It needs someone who knows nothing about the site except for what it looks like, needs to be able to look on that cover and go, hey, I'm on the right site. So it's got to show the name, address, front of the building, the sign, address. And then after taking that photo, start working clockwise around the perimeter. Now, if you have to go inside, whatever, try to do this. Keep in mind, your site contact lots of times is going to say, hey, I'm going to take you this way. Try to influence them a little bit, but if you can't, it doesn't always work. Take pictures of everything. Don't mark photos as you go because you're fumbling with all this stuff and it takes too long. You can mark them just as soon as you get done with your sidewalk sitting in your car. Before you leave the site, you want to mark all the photos and complete filling out the field checklist. Because the field checklist is you're doing it as you go along. It questions you to make sure you don't miss anything and fits the report writing time template perfect. All these things save you time and save you money. You don't have to go back. Worst case scenario, if they take pictures of everything and you get a picture that you see something in that picture and the site inspector didn't make a note or tell you what it was, you can send that picture to your site contact, to your broker, to whoever, and they can find out what that is for you. If you can't figure out what it is, and it could be potential concern, like a vent pipe or a fill port or something like that, because nobody knows what it is, you definitely want to find out. But if nobody knows what it is, it becomes an unknown feature and can become a recognized environmental concern. Remember, potential. You're looking for possible or potential environmental concerns on the subject site. That's what a phase one does. Phase one doesn't have to definitively tell you there's a problem on site. It just has to have potential for having a problem on site. Back at the office, when that field inspector comes in from the field, immediately they download their photos. One of the things about taking the front photo, the first picture of your photo series is always the front of the building with the sign, address, all that stuff, is because if you do multiple site inspections, you need to have your photos separated. And that way they're all automatically separated, even if they're taken on the same camera. Finish reviewing and marking your map. Fill out an interview sheet. You should always ask your site contact, of any environmental concerns or whatever. Remember, this becomes a legal document. Give file to environmental professional or report writer or whoever you guys do. You got this field file, everything's complete. Give it to the person going to write the phase one. If it's you, put it where you can get to it easily. You're going to combine that with the report writing file. So then you have everything as it comes in. Writing the report. We're going to go over this in more detail in part 2. But you're going to review all this stuff, ask the assessor questions, review the questionnaires, review all historical, and we'll actually do some of this in part 2 and do kind of a case study. We're not going to write a complete report because, that might take 3-4 hours, but we're going to have fun with it. We're going to do a case study, and you'll see a neat site, and it's kind of cool, part 2. Okay, so that's basically it. You can see that setup, organization, everything fit together. I know all that setup takes a little bit of time, 15, 20 minutes, reviewing things before you go out in the field. But all these things will save you time in the long run, so you optimize the amount of money you make on a phase 1 and save yourself time. Keep in mind, if you've got you're one of our bigger clients and you've got 3 or 4 or 5 or more people you want to train in a phase 1 how to do the sidewalk and write the report, obviously I may not train in the way you're doing it, and you can be there to correct me or whatever, but I'd be glad to come out to wherever you are in the United States and train your people for a couple days. Of course, you got to pay for my flight and give me at least something a little better than a Motel 6 and McDonald's, but that's all it's going to cost you. I don't charge for the training or anything like that. I just got to get out there. You can't expect me to pay those costs. Also, you guys want to come out to Southern California, beautiful sunny Southern California near Laguna Beach, you are welcome, and we can do the training here. So be a good getaway for all your employees and you. So that's part 1 of optimizing your phase 1. Part 2, if I'm correct, is next week. Susanna will tell you, if you want any of these documents, become our client. Let us earn your business. We take huge pride. Everyone in this company takes huge pride in what we do, and how we do it, and how we help our clients. So any questions, anything like that? Because I'm pretty much done with part 1 of optimizing your phase 1. Anyone have a question? So part 2 is next week. One of the things we do have that you can get a copy of is a series of standard answers to help your report writers have answers that are set up and that are protect you legally, so you can give pretty much answer all the questions in the writing template of a phase 1 and any concerns of that. And we can give you a copy of this if you want to use it and use our report writing template. And these are just cut and paste. Remember, our report writing template's in Word, so it's easy to use. Automatically has some stuff already sent into it. Possible contamination is a big question. Well, yesterday we went through what ASTM and All Appropriate Inquiry has defined what a phase 1 is for, and what a recognized condition is. So just real quickly, you're right, that's a big term and I kind of use it. So let's just, first of all, let me read the definition according to ASTM. The purpose of this phase 1 environmental site assessment is to identify, to the extent feasibly pursuant to the processes prescribed herein, recognized environmental conditions in connection with the property. What is a recognized environmental condition? I'm reading it directly. So the objective is in section 7.1, section 3.2.78, recognized environmental condition is the presence or likely presence. Likely presence is possibility, right? Or potential. Likely presence of any hazardous substances, or petroleum products in, on, or at the property. And then it goes on to say due to a release, due to this, due to that. So basically, that is a big term. So if there's any potential for contamination, you don't have to know. A phase one doesn't do sampling, doesn't do modeling, doesn't do vapor sampling, soil sampling, water sampling. Is there a potential for contamination on that site from a bunch of facts you gathered? Like the adjacent site uses this. There's monitoring wells on the adjacent site. There's a big file on the adjacent site, and they've done a big cleanup. And so is there a potential from contamination from the adjacent site? But you don't know. That's a recognized environmental condition. You got to identify it. So I hope I answered that question. Remember, I've been on the ASTM committee since day one when they wrote the first standards in 1991. Can you believe that? That's how frickin' old I am. I don't know it all. My interpretation, the ASTM isn't going to finitely interpret anything. But you build your case for each recognized environmental condition based on all the facts that you're getting in. And you build this case. And once you have this case, then you decide whether you make it a recognized environmental condition or not. You don't make it a recognized environmental condition, and down the road it turns into it was a problem. Well, then you got a few questions to answer if your review of the material, wasn't spot on, right? So, any other question? I mean, that's what a phase one's for. It's not necessarily to identify that there's contamination on site, but whether there's a potential for contamination on site. Potential vapor intrusion, potential soil contamination, water contamination. Why do you review historical uses of a site? Because based on historical uses of the site, it's possibility that there was some contamination left from uses 20, 30, 40 years ago. And natural attenuation is really, quite frankly, a joke. In my lifetime, I haven't seen anything naturally attenuate. So I've seen things be, attenuate with some enhancements and other things, but not naturally. So any other questions? I hope I answered that question for you. I gave you the section numbers. Read the ASTM standards. Perfect. Thanks, George. Okay, if there's no other questions, I hope to see you at part 2. We do have more webinars coming up. So make sure you sign up for part 2. Make sure you review our webinar calendar on a regular basis. And if you want any of these forms or stuff so we can actually apply them in part 2, it'd be sweet. It makes it easier for you. And if you're not our client, we'd love to earn your business. Give us a try. September, we have $25 off of any of our packs. And we have a code you use when you order. Keep in mind you can pay with credit card. If you fill out our little credit card form promising to pay, we'll invoice you. If you do large volume, we'll give you a break on just about any product. So give me a call. So there's the code for your $25 off of any pack. That's about it, you know, depending upon the pack, it's 10% or more. So give us a call. TryUsRecCheck.com is our website. LenderRisk.com will get you there. And we hope to see you start using us, and hopefully we can start saving you time and money. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm signing off, and thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. You're very welcome.